Are you experiencing digestive issues such as bloating or constipation or diarrhea, maybe even belching or gas? Well, we're going to dive into 6 ways that you can optimize your digestion. Hi, my name is Dr. Ariane Missimer. I'm a functional medicine practitioner, doctor of physical therapy, registered dietitian, and I'm the owner of the Movement Paradigm Integrative Health Center. And I love talking about the concept of digestion because there's so many natural practices that we can do without any supplementation that can really help you improve your gut health and therefore your longevity. Digestion is quite a complex process. There are many different variables to make the process go smoothly, and so much of it we can control. So the mechanical breakdown of food starts at our mouth. So this is where we have enzymes that are released from our saliva to begin the breakdown of our food. We also have hydrochloric acid that's in our stomach as well as pepsin that's going to help break down specifically the proteins in our food. Then we have our pancreas. So we have our pancreatic elastase, which has different enzymes that break down our protein, carbs, and fat. We have our liver that's producing bile and our gallbladder that's storing the bile and releasing it to break down fat at a particular meal. We also even have in our small intestine some brush border enzymes to complete the digestive process, but ultimately it is a very complex and fascinating process that when there is a breakdown in digestion, which is what I see all of the time, that is going to be one of the biggest things that creates a downstream, of course, negative effect on the gut. Meaning, if we don't break down our food well, we have an increased risk of dysbiosis or bacterial overgrowth. We are going to be at increased risk for things like leaky gut and inflammation in the gut. We are also going to be at increased risk for things like pathogens and parasites. So it's super important that we can do everything we can to optimize our own digestive process. Okay, let's dive in. Number 1 is bringing yourself to a parasympathetic nervous system state. So that means a rest and digest. So when we are in a fight or flight, our blood flow is moving away from the digestive tract. So if we are multitasking, for example, so we're reading or we're looking at our phone, we are essentially increasing cortisol and driving blood flow away from the digestive tract, which is going to slow the whole process. So I recommend doing a nervous system practice right before you eat. So the ways to look at this is 2. So if you feel like, oh man, I'm a little bit stressed, I'm a little bit anxious, have so many things going on, then you might need to do a somatic practice to get rid of some of that excess energy. So maybe you do something like shaking or bouncing, or you even do a body drumming. So that can kind of get rid of some of that excess energy, get you into your body. And then you could do something like diaphragmatic breathing. So in as little as 3 diaphragmatic breaths, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, tongue at the roof of the mouth, touching the top teeth, allowing the abdomen to expand fully and contract fully is going to bring blood flow to the digestive tract. So it can literally be that simple, where you sit down, you might have a moment of gratitude or a moment of mindfulness and being truly present with your food, taking these breaths to allow you to be in that parasympathetic state. Number 2 is limiting your water intake around meals or fluid intake. So if you're having digestive issues, I recommend trying to limit the water intake about 15 minutes prior, 15 minutes after, and then during your actual meal. This can actually decrease our stomach acid and decrease our capability of digesting our food. And even from more of an Eastern medicine philosophy, drinking cold water can also negatively affect our digestive process. So we want to think about trying to plan our fluid intake around our meals so that we're not drinking a lot during the meal process. Number 3 is chewing your food 20 to 30 times. This is a really necessary part of optimizing your digestion because we want to really break down the food into very tiny particles before it moves into the small intestine. So when you're chewing, even if it's something that's a softer food, I recommend trying to chew that as well. It might not be 30 times, but really trying to chew as much as you can, and also making sure you're integrating enough food that you have to chew and that it's not all soft food. We've, in modern society, have evolved into much softer pureed foods, and so that's affected our jaw structure and our ability to chew. So it's really important to make sure that we are eating the right foods and chewing our food as much as possible. Number 4 is walking after your meals. This could be as little as a 2-minute walk, a 5-minute walk, a 30-minute walk, but it's a great way to help assist the digestive process versus eating your food, eating a lot, feeling full, and then laying on the couch. So this is a great way to help support. Number 5 is meal spacing. So this can be extremely important when we're talking about someone that might be experiencing digestive issues. So meal spacing is very important for our migrating motor complex. This is inside of the small intestine, and think of this as a wave-like action that's helping to move things through the small intestine. So the small intestine is our site of absorption, nutrient absorption, but we do want to make sure that we're moving things through like by bacteria and so on, moving through the entire digestive tract. So what happens is when we eat frequently, so let's say that we're eating every 2.5 hours, that process actually slows down. So we actually, to optimize our motility in our gut, we want to space the meals out. So thinking at least 3 hours, 4 hours, and even that overnight fast where we have, at least maybe a 12-hour fast is appropriate for most people. So this can be really important as you're figuring out the course of your day, which everyone's day is going to look different based on their activity and interests and preferences, but just trying to focus on spacing the meals out instead of the frequent grazing and snacking. And that also means a few bites of this, a few bites of that. So we do want to count all that as eating continuously throughout the day. And last but not least is nervous system regulation. So I have lots of vagus nerve and somatic exercises that you can do, so you can check them out on our channel. But you want to recognize that not just around mealtime, but that if we are in this constant fight or flight or even freeze state in our nervous system, then that is going to affect our digestion. So in addition to a practice right before you eat, I would suggest incorporating some of these things. Perhaps it is breathing, or it is, like I said, some of the exercises I already spoke about, like shaking or tap body drumming. It can be swaying. There's lots of different options that you can do to regulate your nervous system throughout the day. Before bed, for example, you can do some abdominal massage, ways that you can really downregulate your nervous system, bring yourself to that state of social engagement and connection and safety so that you can optimize your digestion all of the time. I hope this was helpful. If it was, give it a like and give it a share. Of course, I love to hear your comments, and I would love to have you as a subscriber to our YouTube channel for weekly tips on mindset, nutrition, and movement. And if you need individual help, please reach out to us. We can do a free discovery session to see how we can help you on your journey. And you can also join us on the Movement Paradigm app, where we have lots of monthly challenges and lots of ways for you to keep improving your health. Thank you, as always.